So here's a no-brainer for a lot of people. Do we have a very corrupt government?
Of course!
Absolutely we do. I just put out the video yesterday showing what was presented at the court case in Georgia, and immediately social media and all the quote-unquote fact checkers have rushed out to debunk the video. Now, perhaps their level of the definition of debunk a lot different than mine. Okay? I don't share a definition of debunk. To me, debunk means you have proven that it is that the claim has no merit. You've proven it's false. You've proven that it's an incorrect statement, whatever. They haven't released proof with these fact checks. They've put out articles, and a lot of the evidence, I'm using that term loosely here, a lot of what I've seen them put out as far as to how this is debunked is really more of opinion than what I've seen of fact. So here's what we have seen. What we have seen is the video. What we have seen are these suitcases, but that's part of the fact check now. It's not suitcases. They are official ballot holders or ballot carriers or whatever, right? Ooh la la. Let's get fancy and correct with the terminology here, because that's what made this whole thing a false claim. That's what set the right that it's not a suitcase. Come on. I'll use Joe Biden's line there. Come on, give me a break. Really? That's what you're going to split hairs over. Be my guest. Okay, you're showing your own ignorance and your own bullshit if that's what your big complaint here is. That being said, so turns out, okay, they're debunked. Is that number one? They weren't suitcases. Number two, no one was apparently told to leave the room. That all the workers who were in the room and left, well, they had just so happened to have finished doing their counts. They were each responsible for, I guess, so many count. And they had finished. You mean they all finished at the exact same time? I mean, how coincidental is that? So they just coincidentally all finished together and got up and left. No one told anyone to leave. No one told the press to leave. No one told the observers to leave. Okay? Furthermore than that, they claim that Republican so-and-so and so was still in the room. Okay? Well, that's just the problem. Actually, they didn't say so-and-so and so. They just said that a top-level Republican observer was still present or something like that. Somehow, some way, some Republican was supposed to be present. But they can't cite who it was. They didn't give a name in any of these fact checks, at least not that I've seen, but even if they did, I'll come back to that one in a moment. They also claim these are legal ballots. Now, how do you know that? Because I can't see those ballots in the footage. How did you? How did you, in less than 24 hours, audit to see what exactly was counted there so that we know 100% beyond shadow of a doubt that they were counting legal ballots? How do you know that? You've had less than 24 hours. Who did you have that went to Georgia? What devil did you send down to Georgia to investigate this crap? Seriously? There's no way. So they're literally just spewing it out there just to say that it's false. Look, if that's what it takes to be a fact checker, I want to know where you can get that application. Because I can just sit around and make statements and spew bullshit all day long. If you don't actually have to investigate anything, if all you have to do is just sit on your ass and say whether something's true or false, that sounds like easy money to me. Where's an application at? Seriously. Because I can sit right here all day long and just tell you whether something's false or not. And not investigate it to any length whatsoever. I can just sit here with my own personal bias because I think it should be false or true, and I could sit here and tell you that all day long and get paid for it. Hell, sign me up for that job, seriously. So, They haven't released any evidence to show that they are legal ballots. Not that I've seen anyway. If they do, I'd be more than happy to look at it because, once again, I'm not really upset if Trump has been a victim of a rigged election here. It's been in the works. It was rather obvious to him. He saw what Julian Assange exposed, and he didn't do anything to try to help people like Julian Assange. You know, maybe if he had defended WikiLeaks and defended Julian Assange and there hadn't been such a war waged against them, maybe WikiLeaks might have just been able to obtain more information on this election cycle. Maybe Trump, if it were a true rigged election and some emails got out again somehow, some way, there might just be somebody out there who could, I don't know, get that information out there to us like they did in 2016. Oh, but what did you do for that guy? How well did you defend him? Did you pardon him when the deep state came after his head on a skewer? No. But now you want to bitch that the deep state's reaming you and rigging an election. Again, I call that irony. But back to what took place. Okay. Turns out, okay, that they just want people to believe that there's nothing to this. So let's break it down step by step for everything that they have quote unquote fact checked. Okay. They say they're completely legal ballots. How do you know? Where's your proof? I can't see them from the camera. How can you? How did you verify it? You didn't tell me. You haven't cited any reasons as to how you know for a fact these are legit ballots. Furthermore than that, they said no one was told to leave the room. Okay, so who told you no one was told to leave the room? And then here's what I want to know. Have they signed sworn affidavits, and are they at risk of being sent to prison or at the very least charged with perjury? Because the people who are testifying they were told to leave the room, they've signed sworn affidavits and they've testified in court, and if they were indeed lying about that, they're at risk of being prosecuted for perjury. You know, it's a crime to lie when you're under oath. Just ask Bill Clinton. So, yeah, somebody lying here, and I want to know if your sources who are saying that didn't happen are under oath when they are telling you that, or are they just freaking telling you that, and so you're telling us that what the people who are under oath is saying is bullshit. Again, you ain't made this case yet. If you want to prove, look, we've seen what took place there. We know what it looks like, and as we say in the South, where there's smoke, there's fire. As I said the other day, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. You're claiming it's false. So the burden of proof, now that we've presented this, as there might be evidence that something happened here, for you to say it's false, now the burden of proof relies on you. Because what we've shown definitely looks suspicious. You can't just come out and say it's false, and that means it's false. I mean, if you do, you're no different than Donald Trump when he comes out and just says any batshit thing he wants to say, and it has to be the gospel truth. No. There's video evidence. It shows what looks like them clearing out a room. Okay. And then after everyone is gone, proceeding to pull out more ballots and start counting those ballots. That's what it looks like. And you can't just say that that's not what it is without presenting some proof to show that that's not what it is. And writing some freaking articles and telling us that ain't how it happened don't mean jack crap. Where's your sources? Are they under oath? Have they signed sworn affidavits saying this never happened? To give rebuttal to the people who are saying it did. Okay? Furthermore than that, it ain't just these people under oath saying they were told to leave. Go back to election night, because I have done some digging now, and it was Allstate Arena who shut down counting the night of the election because, as the media was reporting, a pipe had burst, therefore causing a maintenance issue inside the building, and they were told to go home because that had to be fixed. That was reported on election night. Go back and find the clips. So that was the place, because that's where this video was done at, was in Allstate Arena. Okay? So the media, who, by the way, was part of the group who were in the room and left when everyone else just so coincidentally left, were reporting that night they were told to leave because of the, they just left because everyone else was told to leave because counting was going to stop for the night. There's just one problem here. Counting clearly did not stop for the night. So let's take your argument and say those were legit ballots. Why did that little ruse take place? Why were people told to go home because of a pipe burst, and then 4 magical women just decided to stick around, act like they're cleaning up, and then wait till everyone leaves the room and start counting more damn ballots? I mean, if you can't see that there's something fishy with that story, that something stinks, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you don't need to be a master interrogator or the guy who can see through any lie. You don't have to be a human lie detector test to tell something just don't add up with that story. And that's not a defense of Trump. That's just simply laying the facts out there as there are. That's why I've been saying ever since Election Day, I felt like there was some serious rigging afoot, and that Donald Trump very well could have been cheated out of this election. Do I feel sorry for him? No. He hasn't done, in my opinion, a thing to defend truth tellers who are exposing this kind of corruption over the year. So if he's, or years, so if he's a victim of it, that's his own fault. That's his own fault. That's karma coming back to bite him in the ass when he had the power of the presidency. Could have pardoned Manning, could have pardoned Assange, could have pardoned Snowden, could have promoted the things that Assange was trying to get, other than just at some campaign rallies where he would name drop WikiLeaks every now and then. You know, even Tucker Carlson had enough, gumption, as we say in the South, to call him out for not doing anything about Assange. So Trump's got a bad case of karma that's biting him in the ass for not defending these truth tellers who've been telling us for years just how corrupt our government was. There was unrefutable evidence of what took place in 2016. And as far as the debunked claim that, there were Republican observers still present when these other little ballots were being counted, I'll refrain back to what I said in my previous video. I wouldn't be surprised if Republicans were in this with Democrats to help Joe Biden win. You will be so surprised to find out that Joe Biden gets along with the mainstream GOPers, the mainstream Republicans, the Mitch McConnells of the world. He gets along with them pretty darn well. Pretty well. Imagine that. They like him better than they like Trump. They want Trump gone. Even though Trump hasn't really been an outsider as far as he's governed, his mouth has been. They don't like that. They don't like that. They're territorial little dogs. And anyone that comes into their backyard and tries to piss on their lawn, they attack. Now, it would have been absolutely foolish of these Republicans, once Trump was in office, to just completely in front of the cameras turn on the man. That makes not a bit of sense at all. You're cutting your own throat. Donald Trump has a good popularity with the Republican Party and the Republican base. Why? Because his rhetoric is what a lot of people have been longing for. Someone to come in and take the two parties and turn them up on their head and just give them a good spanking, basically. That's what people have wanted to see. They're tired of the two parties that just keep screwing them over. And they thought Trump would be that guy. Some Democrats thought it. Some independents thought it. That's why I voted for the guy in 2016. I was hoping he would. I don't think he did. At least not enough. But a lot of Republicans are still bought and sold on the fact that he is. He's an outsider. He's an everyday working man's president. That's what they believe. So for them to just completely throw him under the bus in front of the cameras, be political suicide. It'd be political suicide. And it would arguably have driven a lot of those Republicans, if they thought that they couldn't vote for a Democrat or Republican, they would have voted for Trump for president and then probably voted third party on down the ticket as far as the Senate and the House were concerned. But behind the scenes, make no mistake, Trump is not the best friend of the Lindsey Grahams, the Mitch McConnells. They'll play up to him on camera. They'll kiss up to him in these hearings. They're playing politics when they know people are watching. But when no one's watching, they want that status quo norm of yesterday. They want the day of George Bush, John McCain, and Mitt Romney back. They want it back. They want the 1990s on into the mid-2000s. They want it back. Trump has disrupted their norm. Even though I don't think he's done that great of a job and didn't deliver on near as many promises as he had the potential to. And he's a victim of a rigged system that he did not much to fight against. That's why they don't want him there. So as far as their debunking claim that there were people that were Republicans present, so what is the honest assumption here? That just because they were present, they have to therefore defend Donald Trump's honor? What if they're Republicans and they don't like Donald Trump? Or did you miss all those people who were Republicans and said they were going to vote for Joe Biden? Did you miss the Joe Walshes of the world? Did you miss all that Lincoln Project crap? Just because they were a Republican doesn't mean a damn thing, fact checkers. People, as hard as it is to believe, can be registered under this party and still vote for the person who ran on the other party because they like them better. Now, why they like them better, that's a whole nother set of circumstances. But is it possible? Is it possible that someone could be a Republican and still vote for a Democrat and not like the Republican candidate? Is it possible?
Of course!